with this dive trend, we will end up waiting and finding out. And IG already matching with that Xin Zhao, so a little bit of early game pressure to try and go toe-to-toe with Wei. Jiejie here fancying himself a bit of a skirmish in the early game.
Yeah, hey, Wei and Jiejie heard we weren't going to focus on them, maybe giving them a little bit more oomph to the tank here with these skirmishes that can happen in the level 3 mark or even once they hit that level 6. Gala will go ahead and take that misfortune, so not only taking that away from Elk, but also going with that setup potential of their very own. I expect BLG to get a lot of lockdown here. I think Leona even rises in priority. The Ambessa, now that Gwen is gone, gonna have that public execution to reach out to that misfortune, and the Talia locked in as well.
Yeah, and I love Ambessa versus MF in particular, because the second you see the MF channel her ulti, you get a free public execution. So it synergizes really well for BLG. Vitalia is a great combo as well. You lock them up with that cease and desist. Seismic shove is impossible to hit. But I love this response so far for IG, taking the Renekton as the typical answer that you will see into Ambessa. We expect to see a very good laning phase for TheShy on this Renekton, just because of the nature of the matchup. The Renekton typically comes out very favorably versus Ambessa.
I feel like the narrative just writes itself, man. I know maybe I'm looking too into it. Maybe I'm too far into the LPL system. But we have the new age champion Ambessa on the new age champion of the league bid. We got the old age champion Renekton on TheShy coming in. Oh, it's going to be fun. But also, like you say, TheShy definitely going to have a little bit of the advantage there. Now we're in the second phase. We look at the bans. We already get the Jhin utility ban away from Elk. It's going to be the Poppy ban as well towards IG.
Interesting. I'm looking at like setup champs for this MF. So Nico, Rel are your two typical go-tos that we will see a lot of when we see Misfortune locked in at support, or locked in at AD. So the supports that I'm looking at being banned by BLG were as followed. But Poppy is probably just a really good ban to gets rid of, as you've got Vi plus Ambessa. Still looking at the Kai'Sa, to be honest, for IG to take away here, knowing that this is going to be a dive-esque composition, and they do opt into it, just saying, you know, even though it's going to be a good laning phase in terms of when we get to that late game, what AD carry is going to be best suited to help out a Vi and an Ambessa, let's take it off the board.
Now, we did say that Elk has been willing to go for the Ezreal, maybe an option here for some survivability for him, but also some poke damage layering on top. The Renata is going to be the ban towards Meiko, so trying to take away some of that reactionary play that IG could go for. But you have to think, what is IG going to be using their counter pick for, and what do they grab here?
So probably, I mean, they can counter pick mid now. They see Talia, so they're going to take mid, and then fifth pick for support has become really common. Wouldn't be surprised to see that be taken by IG. Just a couple of hovers being tossed around, as yeah, they do want to
pick the skin, you know.
no, that's true. So they lock in mid lane here. This makes sense, and they now see the Talia. They're able to match with the Ahri. So again, prio, and it's also a lot of safety in that facet as well, because you've got 3 charges of your Spirit Rush to maybe get out of danger. But whatever BLG take here, there's going to be an answer for IG. So you could go Braum to try and block the bullet time and interrupt it as well with your ulti, but then you get opened up to potentially really having a tricky laning phase. You can go for something that's going to disrupt the engage as well. I think Alistair's a really good solid pick, knowing that there's a likelihood of a Nico, a likelihood of a Rel, and Alistair's really good at headbutting both of those away.
Yeah, and you can get that engage onto the MF as well. Ezreal, the hover here at least would be nice to be able to pepper in some damage on that the back of the engage that BLG are rocking here, but I still wonder now what that counter pick is going to be in terms of that answer into it. If it is just going to be that tried and true Rel, the Ezreal does finally come through.
Okay, and I mean, in terms of getting damage over the top, this makes a little bit of sense, right? You see somebody out of position, True Shot Barrage goes over on top of Vi plus Ambessa. Not many AD carries are going to be able to survive that, so expectation of the Ezreal to be able to pump out DPS from a little bit longer range definitely is meeting it. I do fear for BLG's composition a little bit in terms of their actual true consistent DPS profile, but they have got 2 bruisers, double backline threats, so that their damage isn't low by any chance. It's just not a traditional hyper carry that they've picked up for themselves down in that bot lane. And then matched as well finally for the support, the Rakan gets locked in for Meiko. So really a large emphasis on these 2 supports to make the fights happen. I think that it's a lot more on Meiko as the Rakan this game to find a fight, whereas BLG, they've got tools from Bin, Wei and On to get themselves a fight going. Meiko is really the only one who can look for those true engages in his own.
Yeah, and that's going to be difficult to do. I feel like you're going to have to really watch out for the spacing of BLG in a lot of these situations, and that's going to be very difficult. A team that plays so well together because they've been together for so long. I know Wei is finally that solid piece in the jungle for them, but this is a team that has built so much camaraderie and found so much strength within themselves. That split one not being the champions of that first iteration of our new format, it's definitely got a sting, but here they have a statement to make in split 2, and especially against the first real competition in IG. It's the new guard versus the old guard in a lot of ways, but it is an IG that is also looking to be dominant, that is also looking to be that super team in the LPL. You look at all those interviews before the team was put together and all the emotion, all the passion that these players have to bring respect back to the LPL, to bring respect back to IG. And now we get to go into our first game of this absolute giga banger of a matchup, one that we get to see 2 times here in Group Ascend, which I am so excited about. See the differences between the 2 teams as time goes on, but I know that these teams are looking to make a statement on the day. You're already getting the dios out before we even hit onto the Rift as well, but here we go, game 1 of BLG versus IG, kick it off now.
Never gets old. It never gets old.
It never gets old.
Literally never gets old.
When I intro people the LPL, like when you get to cast the LPL and you get to hear those gyos, yes, we're not in studio, but all these years, like that is what fuels me to be a part of the LPL. That passion, that fandom, and I gotta say, Rood, in person, it's 1,000 times crazier. The rooms literally shake, and you get to hear the fandom of BLG and IG as we start this one off.
And for these 2 teams as well, definitely high expectations on the cards. BLG coming out of their group stage 5-1, a loss versus Weibo, but still a very strong showing, a very worthy opponent to have to take a loss against. And for IG, a 6-0 out of their group stage placements. And really, like we've highlighted, Mazel, this is the first competition for both of these teams in split number 2 that we're expecting to have some real merit to it. So BLG, they faltered already a little bit once with a Weibo Gaming defeat, and in a best of 3 now we'll get to see what BLG are able to do, what they can provide, as already down on the spot side seeing Elk take a couple of autos from Gala that could argue probably shouldn't have done.
A little bit of a better health lead there as the headbutt comes through, trying to get some of this wave clear, get that level 2, that safety for both sides. Got to take a look at the jungle matchup here as well. Opposite side starts a little bit of vision game being played by both. Gala now losing half his health. Wow. Massive double headbutt pulverizing Gala, forced to burn the barrier early.
Yeah, and I mean, Elk clearly playing for the level 2. Gala spending a little bit of time poking out onto the Ezreal. Really never a position where I imagine an Alistair gets level 2 push versus Rakan, but clearly the world that we find ourselves in, and for On and Elk, that's a really big advantage just early enough, taking out that barrier from Gala, meaning that he's going to be a little bit more susceptible now. The MF, very reliant on her flash and movement speed that's built into her kit, so that initial popping of one of those summoner spells is going to go very well as we see BLG hopefully look to extend that lead.
Now we see if BLG can kind of keep this push and this priority. No, Gala! He steps up, does end up getting the buffer out from Elk with that arcane shift. Gonna be dicey stuff on the bot lane for IG. Maybe hoping for some hopes and prayers from Jiejie, but he's going all the way to the top side. We'll see if Wei wants to make his presence felt on bot lane, but as we come to the culmination of both junglers, we are not going to get that early interaction between the 2 that we were maybe looking for, but on that second path, I can see it happening.
Ooh. Second time round, maybe those junglers are going to meet, but unfortunately, I think last hitting that cannon there from On has sort of messed the wave up a little bit. You see Elk was taking a reset knowing that the wave was pushing into him, but the big execute on the cannon minion might have just turned the tide of that wave to go a little bit worse overall. I mean, I think as soon as Gala gets there, he's going to start pushing it in anyway. A little bit of vision being laid down by Jiejie before they do end up going back to base. Very traditional style of jungle clear right here as both junglers take a quick ward over the blue buff wall, so they're going to know where their junglers go for the second clear.
And we do have to start thinking about positioning for both objectives. Ooh, little 1v1 going on. Okay, TheShy gonna back away to start it off. I like to see some of the shenaniganery starting off here on the top side. Spin gonna go for a nice little trade on TheShy as well. We got about 40 seconds for that first dragon. It is Infernal Dragon, so that maybe ups the tempo here of what we see in the dragon focus. But a lot of teams in the LPL have just been hyper focusing on that first grub spawn and readapting their entire map state to it.
Yeah, and it's those early recalls as well that we see that typically indicate it, especially for our bot sides. As taking a quick glimpse into that mid lane, it's good to check in and just recognize, yep, they're going pound for pound, blow for blow in this instance. And yeah, Rookie's taking a bit of a rough trade here, but Knight and Rookie are both very much even on that farm department. Same to be said for this bot side as well, despite the early lead that we saw Elkin on grab. The MF not really feeling too worse for wear overall. Cull picked up in the inventory as well, so we'll be happy to sandbag just a little bit earlier on, knowing that they're going to move into a mid-game power. But also worth saying that MF notoriously one of these picks that doesn't have the greatest late game.
Yeah, so you really need to spike on that mid game and spike hard and find those entrances in the fights, but more so just I feel like I've been pretty proud of the LPL misfortunes in terms of the reservation of using the ultimate, and we'll see if Gala can do so this time around. Meiko going to stop the back of On. This is merely a distraction, though. Meiko going to go around the corner, see that BLG. We're starting up the dragon, maybe trying to force way out of the pit now. On will turn back around, and this is just a little pressure for Meiko, but it might get a little hot and heavy for him here soon. Going to use the grand entrance to get out of there, and just being a menace here, as BLG will take the dragon in perfect timing to go contest on the grub side of the map.
And that's just, you know, honestly, the best case scenario right here. As we look at it for BLG, been attempting to try and hold a freeze down on this bot side. That minion barely not crashing under the turret, but it does mean TheShy's going to have to step up into what is typically a very risky position on the map. Jiejie, the one who started off these grubs, doesn't look as though Wei is making his way up to that top side, but just the way that TheShy is positioned here, not even like he's playing aggressively, but he has to catch these minions, and he's in a bit of a tricky spot.
Oh, I think he took the bait. He's going to try to slice and dice, but the big public execution for Bin. The Dominus is going to be popped. Wei is struggling to find an entrance into this. He went back and forth, but now the turret is going to help. And oh, TheShy, he's going to survive for a little bit longer. He has the CC, and he is a ruthless predator. He wants the
TheShy!
TheShy gets the solo right back, and Bin, you found your master.
1v2, 1v3, TheShy does not care. He will take the fight to Bin, take it even harder to Wei, gets the Weaver's Wall out of Knight as well, which is giving an advantage over to Rookie. Just all of a sudden, one small play has given IG a bit of a lead here.
That's actually so massive. I just love the commitment from TheShy in that moment, realizing he does have a lot of strength with his Dominus pop. Now Jiejie, oh, he went back in. That was asking for too much, and now Elk gets a kill, and that's on his way to glory on the Ezreal.
Meiko able to get out of danger as well, but the jungler for Invictus Gaming not nearly as lucky. Now Gala walking on Vision, beelining it for the buy.
I love it. We're just getting fisticuffs between these two teams. And this is here early on. Now finally Gala gets a big bullet time because he finally got his ultimate. Odds going down to a double kill to Gala, but Meiko's getting low. An auto attack from Elk will claim his life. And now Knight, without mana, has to back away. It is bloodshed on the rift here.
And somehow in the 4 versus 3, it's IG that come out on top, just knowing how much stronger they were, I guess, in that position. Than BLG, able to come away with a couple of kills for Gala is exactly what they would have been after. Little replay of how the bot lane skirmish went down. TheShy we thought had been sort of reeled in hook, line, and sinker. Soon as that public execution comes through, Dominus matches it, and TheShy, sick of playing Ring Around the Rosie, just decides, okay, well, I'll get my little bit of health back that I can off of these minions, and this is the power that Renekton has. A nice level up as well does come through, so maybe he's tracking that HP bar and the XP bar as well to know that he's got a level dink coming through. And this is the fight back on that top side. Again, looking at your minimap, this is 4 versus 3. This is BLG with a numbers advantage, unable to come out on top. Meiko goes in, knocks up Wei, and the bullet time from Gala finishes off the job. And it's unfortunate for Meiko that he does just go down. A very good Mystic shot from Elk. Snipes him, weaving in a final auto attack, but overall, IG bouncing back there where they really shouldn't have had much of an opportunity to.
Yeah, that's actually really massive. The funniest thing about that bot lane play, by the way, is that Bin kind of knew what was coming. He walked way back to the wave to try to get a little bit of health back, obviously, but unfortunately, Wei did not get the message and just walked straight into a crocodile. You know what they say? You should not walk into a crocodile. I don't know who says it, but somebody says it.
That's true. I mean, that's just general common knowledge. I would argue, Mazel, is that most people should know not to walk into crocodiles, and I may be wrong for that, and people may persecute me for it, but that's just my opinion.
Shout out to Steve Irwin, my goat. He always walked into crocodiles, and he always came out the better. But now we get a refocus on the map here, and a lot of resources have been deployed by IG on the top side, especially vision-wise. Jiejie is also trying to potentially look for a dive onto Knight, just going to get the reset here for himself. All quiet on the Rift now, though, as he thought about maybe sticking around. We are going to be getting those first item completions for majority members here very soon, though. Eclipse both completed for the top laners as well.
Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, I mean, with the way that these first items get built out and into the top laner specifically, they're champions that typically thrive on one item anyway. AD carries much more hyper-scaling focused usually as TheShy again hops forward. Now 3 people.
Okay, maybe this is enough. They're going to be double TPs coming in. TheShy is going to heal up, but it's not nearly enough. Now this TP is doomed from Rookie. He's going to flash out immediately. Now down that flash, Rookie has to be very careful. Still has the Spirit Rush available. Meiko decides he wants to go in. The double CC onto the bullet time, but it's not enough. Flash from Elk, and nice win becomes lightning. Jiejie is a master of magic as a double kill comes through, and IG, they're damn doing it. A kill goes right back, and Wei gets a double of his own. Now TP right back. We are not stopping. Bin wants to shut down this party. There's going to be the response TP from TheShy. His goat has showed up, and he has to immediately run away.
And again, it's IG who lose out in the initial play, but then with a numbers disadvantage, turn the fight back around. It's Meiko this time, who has a stellar engage on the Rakan. We highlighted in the draft that he's going to need to play out of his mind to come out on top in this game. And for IG to be able to do it, well, that's exactly what happens. Taking another look at how all of this breaks down to begin with. TheShy focused, unfortunately, on a ward here, so cease and desist comes out. Those initial early TPs we think are going to be really good, but watch this flash from Rookie as well. Gets away from Wei and the Vault Break, which means the Vi is effectively useless. And I want to keep your eyes on Meiko here. Channels the quickness as he gets off of the Unraveled Earth, knowing that he can't then get stunned up. Double flash comes through, and it's a W flash from Jiejie. The headbutt from On ultimately sacrifices himself and his AD carry as it punts them back into the team. And after all of this, a couple of turret shots too many, the TPs come through. But IG opened 1k gold lead. It's not a lot, but it's enough so far to give them a small foot up in this match.
It's something, and we said they spike in the mid game, especially with Gala. They're looking at the first turret here as well. All 5 plates going their way. That's massive gold. A little bit of separation is going to be those plates going the way of BLG on top side. See if they can actually finish off this last one. But they're onto a tier 2 tower in bot lane.
They're not stopping him, Mazel. They've got a couple of those grubs. They've got 4 people down here, and they know they're going to lose the tier 1 top lane, so why not make it worth their while? Plating's still up, so Knight takes his time to get through these, but we'll manage to find a little bit of gold. 425 for the Talia is not insignificant, and Wei is taking the top side camps as well. So it's not like they get nothing for this BLG, but definitely more favorable for IG.
The split of the 3 grubs definitely helping out both sides right there. I feel like we get a lot of representation from the grub department. We did finally get those first items. Rookie going with that new age build of this Ahri. Going to be a little bit more tanky as well.
Yeah, and getting a little bit of extra HP right on the Ahri is always going to be valuable. When you now have the chances of diving in, keeping yourself just that little bit safer is exactly the thing that we're looking at. I am also a fan of Ahri builds that incentivize landing your skill shots. I remember Malignant's Lichbane, and I was fuming at that because it meant you could miss everything and still kill people, but that's just a personal gripe. BLG, though, they're caught on a ward.
They were just standing there. Finally, they realized what's going on here. The crowd get a little bit rambunctious with that one for sure. But now it is a situation where Gala is the man in charge right now, 4-0 on this Misfortune. We were asking how this setup for this pick is going to go, what kind of spikes they're going to be able to play around. So far, the positioning has been pretty good on the bullet time, and the layering with him and Meiko has been super succinct.
And I want to dive back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier here, Mazel, in the fact that these two AD carries are the point of focus for these rosters. And so far in this game, 3-1 and 2 for Elk has the lion's share of all of the kills. Same to be said for Gala, 4-0 and 1, having a stellar performance. Both of these AD carries have been crucial for their teams. And in this game, it's exactly the same. It's no different whatsoever. Eyes need to be on Gala, need to be on Elk to see which of them can find the best purchase, who can get that clutch bullet time, that best positioning to better carry for their team.
Yeah, and I was a little worried once Gala kind of left his home at RNG, went over to LNG. We saw the combination with him and Scout work to some extent. I mean, he earned it all pro there as well, and probably was the best Ziggs in 2024 in the entire league. But here on IG, it's really a star among stars, and to still be able to stand out in a lot of games. You look to that series yesterday, it feels good to get the Gala of old now in this new age, and it's been really nice to see his kind of resurgence. But now, speaking of resurgence, we're back on the map. A lot of pressure in the mid lane. Rift Herald is coming up in about 40 seconds.
Yeah, and looking at the minimap here, Rookie actually spending a lot of time down on this bot side, trying to make a play onto Bin. Remember, there's no tier 2 turret down on that bot side, and nobody's catching that top wave currently. Somebody might look to TP up there and catch the wave, but I think Rookie's got just enough time to make his way up there and make sure that those minions aren't being missed. Looking for those objectives, though. The Rift Herald spawning in 20 seconds, Drake up in a minute 20 as well. So we are going to see those neutral objectives begin to spawn again, and our teams again looking towards these potential 5 versus 5s. With 20 seconds, pretty much having elapsed, you're looking at those items. Who is the big ticket winners for both of our sides? Well, right now it's Way on the Vi, who's probably the strongest member of BLG. Almost finished off that Black Cleaver. If you can get to that before any objective fights happen, Gala needs to be careful for the Vi more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why you grab some of these choices by BLG, not only the follow through from that B1 vibe, but you can lock things down if needed. So a lot of tools that Gala has to watch out for in these next fights. There is a dragon coming up in about 35 seconds. We'll see what kind of pressure they want to put on that. Both teams tied up 1-1 in dragons, 3-3 in Rift Heralds, and 6-6 in kills. A little bit of difference in the tower. We'll get there soon. But this is the kind of contested matchup I expect between two top-of-the-table teams in Group Ascent.
Yeah, a reminder, this is probably both of these two teams' best chance, okay?
Oh, TheShy? He's getting all in right now. Way coming in as well with the cease and desist. You shall sit. And TheShy gonna flash out. Oh,
Dodge.
no, Way misses the Vault Breaker. Do they have it? TheShy outplays them again.
It's a great sidestep on the Vault Breaker. Way would have definitely taken out the Croc had that landed, but a little backstep keeps TheShy alive and nets IG a Rift Herald on this top side. TP immediately back down to this bot lane. I see some pings heading into that mid lane. The Dragon has been started by Way, probably going to be finished off as well. But looking at this mid lane transition, Jiejie forced to flash. The important part here is that on the top side of the map, Rookie is getting himself a tier 1 turret, and it looks like IG have actually bullied Way off of the Drake. So he was so low from that initial dive that he actually can't do anything to get that Dragon.
Oh, TheShy is back. You don't kill the monster, it'll come back and haunt you in your dreams. That will be another dragon secured by IG. Second there for them. Starting to stack that one up. And, dude, TheShy, man, he's showing some serious moves into this matchup we call pivotal. Yeah,
and this is one of those rare instances for me almost. So frequently am I thinking I'm not too sure how important top lane matchups are going to be, but whilst it looks like it's just TheShy getting out of dangerous situations, it's about the cross map. He's going to have to do it once more. Dominus is up in 3 seconds here.
They hate him. They literally
4v1.
hate him. They are sending everybody. They even get the true shot in the picture in the family photo. This time, Way will flash it, or at least try to get that extra angle there, not flash, and get this kill into TheShy. He finally takes him down. It was like 4 ganks that went awry before they finally got it, but this entire time, IG has been taking this mid lane, and now maybe even looking to charge back into this top lane too. He's not going to be able to turn that corner.
He might not be able to turn it, but he might be able to do some good damage to that turret. maybe if the rest of the squad had have followed up, he gets owned by a wall there, unfortunately. Would have been able to do something. Neither have I. That was crazy. We'll glance over that though, because it didn't do anything for either side. As now Gala looking onto on, Wei just sort of getting T-posed on.
Gala just stepped up to on. Might even take down Wei. Oh, Meiko went a little too ham there. Wei will go down immediately as you do get that Spirit Rush out of Rookie. It is going to be that big trade, but Wei being off the map, I feel like is more important than Meiko being off the map. Absolutely,
and Meiko took one turret shot too many there. Wasn't really supposed to die in that situation. And looking at the player cams,
somebody's having a good time.
Yeah, somebody's enjoying the fact that Meiko went down there. And you know, keeping our eyes on quite how this has all happened. He gets up CC'd under the turret, so maybe Wade just plays that well and ends up paying the sins for it as well. On forced to use the Unbreakable Will also during that exchange, so a little bit of time now where the Alistair is quite vulnerable. But IG, I mean, coming into this, I wasn't too certain of their performance, especially after yesterday going 2-1 and almost losing 2-0 to FPX. I was skeptical for their performance, but this is the 6-0 IG. This is the takes no prisoners IG that have done an incredible job at leveraging TheShy's counter pick.
And they're keeping pace with BLG. They're even ahead of pace of BLG. Was 2.5k in the lead here. BLG will scoop back up some of that gold with these side lane turrets going down. We are on second items. We're in that mid game here. We're waiting on kind of third item spikes, especially for Elk on the side of BLG. But Gala is starting to come into his own, come into the prime time of the misfortune. IG need to utilize it.
Exactly. And I mean, the scorecard will read 1 and 3 for TheShy. I really want to hammer this home, because even though it reads 1-3, it looks like he's having a bit of a torrid time of things. He's done so much for this Invictus Gaming squad in game number 1 that I would attribute the majority of their successes to him currently, making the best of those bad situations and being able to draw so much pressure, not just by getting members across, but finding kills in those situations as well. The reason that 2 of the turrets have already fallen in this game are because TheShy was being focused on that side lane, and somehow he's 800 gold up to the good, having died 3 times versus Bin.
That's just what's absolutely insane. We did just get the 10 proc for Rookie. The flash out right onto him, though. The cease and desist, everything used. Seismic shove. The public execution is going to come in for Bin at the turn. They end up exercising Meiko. Rookie does end up surviving, but BLG know exactly how to execute their fights.
Yeah, that's the power of the Rod of Ages right there. The Ari is able to just sustain and get herself out from any danger. Now TheShy looking to take this turret on this top side. He uses W to reset the auto, but now having used his slice and dice with 2 people up here, let's see, can he pull some more magic?
Back. Wei might have a postcard here of TheShy. He's going to slice and dice his way away. The flash out, maybe a little bit of distance gained here is enough. He's going to look to fight back as well. True Shot Barrage going to come across, and Wei gets another kill onto TheShy.
And this time again, what is happening on the cross map? Well, IG, they're taking the Atacon. They lost Meiko, have lost TheShy, and somehow are the ones dictating which objective is being taken. But it's BLG booking it down to this bot side. Atacon, with a misfortune of all champs, is probably the worst AD carry for trying to take these types of neutral objectives, and it does mean that IG aren't able to get it. It means that they're biting off just a little more they can chew, and for BLG, it's a great little pick on that top side.
And we have to think about what comes next is the fight for BLG. They just pounce on a Jiejie. Now the rest of the team is here. Rookie trying to get resets. The bullet time going to go completely wide there from Gala. And that's where you put yourself in a tough position, because now Bin has TP to the back line, and Rookie just gets taken down by Elk. This will be a denial of the Soul Point Dragon, and BLG will tie up 2-2 in the Dragon score.
Yeah, and importantly, they close up that gold lead as well. So far, this game had been pretty heavily favored for IG, but BLG with just a couple of good moves around the map that IG aren't quite able to respond to appropriately. Now they're the ones securing the Dragon, securing the Atacon as well off the back of this. And it's all just off of Jiejie being a little bit too far forward. Weaver's Wall plus Vi is a lethal combo. You know, they can engage on you from so far away. Bullet time from Gala really doesn't hit like it needs to. And Rookie, despite these 3 Spirit Rushes, gets corralled by an angle of Bin TPing in, from the Alistair coming on one side, the Knight angle also, proving to be just that bit too much. Numbers advantage for BLG has been the name of their game so far, and finally they're starting to leverage it appropriately.
And it looks like we're getting that mid-game transition to where BLG still have strength in their team, but we're starting to see a little bit of the in-betweens that IG falling apart in these fights. Now we're back onto the rift, though. There is still a lot of pressure to be gained on this top side as TheShy will be pushed out of BLG's jungle there. But that lead, that like 2.5k lead that IG had, it's gone.
And for the most part here, IG's, like you say, the lead is now gone. We need to look at how does their composition function. I think that the Misfortune needs to have a really good bullet time, and then you look at the setup for that. How does Gala get enabled in this game? Yes, we know he's going to have great positioning and can auto attack freely in if they're positioned appropriately, but trying to channel bullet time versus Vi and Bessa versus Alistair is darn near impossible. So,
but that was their choice.
Exactly. We're returning our eyes onto Meiko. How many people can you find with the charm? How good is your engage? Because it lies with this Rakan.
Oh, there is a rescue effort coming for Ben. He is a man stranded out in the water, and the Coast Guard is on its way. Maybe talking about the Coast Guard. Here comes BLG to save Ben. Ben is still alive. Ben is going to dash and finally die. Wei is still in there, though, and he's going to find big picks. Gala's here, though, and BLG, they are the ones that bitten off a little bit more than they could chew. Elk's going to right that wrong here and set the pace for this fight. We still have 3 bodies versus 3 bodies. A reset trying to come through from Rookie. He's not able to get any setup of damage, but Elk now going to get engaged on bullet time. Stopped immediately by Gala. He realizes what was coming his way. IG have to separate. They need to throw the white flag up just like their colors, and they need to run away, but Elk will sit him down. And we talked about this pick for Elk. It is a crucial one, and it's coming up clutch.
We talked about the pick for Elk. We talked about Elk for BLG. He is coming up clutch, Mazel. In these fights, untouched, unchecked, just rattling damage, mystic shot after mystic shot, landing, lethal with his accuracy, and starting to really put BLG in the forefront.
This guy is absolutely cooking on 3 items now as well. And this is the precipice that the Ezreal always loves to get to. This is where you feel like you're an unstoppable beast on the rift here. Have to keep an eye on Elk again, 6-1-5 on this performance to start off this best of.
And this is a great replay to see just how much these two teams have been focused on the side lane. The second there's a little bit of focus, everybody descends. There's Weaver's Walls, there's teleports, there's people charging through the jungle to get into this top side. And it's Wei, for the most part, who's just absolutely laying waste to the backline. He takes Rookie to about 30% HP, destroys the Xin Zhao as well. And then we get to see this re-engage where BLG, with just a little bit better execution, come out on top. Not sure if Gala was looking to find a channel onto Elk, but just with a good timed arcane shift, is able to render that bullet time useless.
Oh, where's my finger tapper? Where is it? I need it, man. The best meme to come out of recent history, but it's so good. I need my finger tapper because that, I don't know if that mystic shot hit, bro. But we'll see now.
Riot seemed to think so, okay? They were happy enough.
They seem to think so. They have their own finger tapper, and it's got weird dimensions. There's another dragon, though, coming up in about 40 seconds. It will be soul point on an Hextech soul for either side. And BLG definitely in favor here. It is still dead even in gold. But they feel like they've taken the upper hand in these last couple fights. And now leading the tempo in this mid lane push.
Yes, that momentum that's on the side of BLG. IG had the advantage for the first, let's call it 10-15 minutes, maybe even up to 20, but as of recent times, BLG have just been making slightly better moves on the map. They've evened up that gold lead. They've put themselves in that slightly better position. I think that Elk in particular, if we look at the AD carries once again, 2 levels up. Gala just only dinging to level 15 on this mid wave, where Elk feeling pretty strong, level 16 on the Ezreal, 3,000 HP just because of the build path you get to go. Getting on hold of the Ezreal this game is going to be so difficult. Remember, the only engage for IG really is coming out of Meiko that's consistent, that's reliable. The streak's been started, it's already gone down. And now IG, they're split.
Oh, Wei is going to take a fight at Jiejie, but I don't think he has any teammates there. There's the flash coming out now. Meiko trying to buy some time for the rest of IG. Look at TheShy. He's going to be engaged back into the team. TheShy, he is caught, and he's the focus. He is down. Elk takes him out, and now BLG will run down IG. think they might have this vision play here, though, that they can play into for IG's favor. Gala still having the bullet time. One big grand entrance for Meiko can make the difference if they can pick anybody out, but it looks like BLG will be safe for now. They get the Soul Point Dragon, and now they extend their lead by just a little smidgen.
Yeah, the inside track on mid lane doing great work here. This is a 30-second death timer still for TheShy. You can see IG sort of doing damage control. Baron is very much on the cards for BLG if they're able to make their way over to this. Just sort of with that death timer, they might have been able to look for it, but I think the good little positioning from IG, getting that mid wave shoved first off, making sure that BLG don't get an easy route back into that mid lane, actually does them a good amount of success. As Chopper
He's got some fancy feats.
Yeah. Could have been the Unbreakable Will being burned, but it's not going to be the case. Hold on.
Oh, Jiejie's in there. Okay, the charm point blank
Goals,
lands bullet time over
team.
top of it. IG, they found some big picks, and IG's getting resets now for Rookie. The charm connects again, and here comes the hurt. IG, from the brink of losing control of this game, will retake the lead and go for the Baron.
And out of nowhere, IG spring a trap. They take down Elk, the player who'd been playing on the knife's edge but so perfectly this entire game, finally falls. And just like that, it's IG who claim the Baron, who claim a massive set of shutdowns, and that are all of a sudden right back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I mean, they just put BLG in the backseat in this one. Jiejie with the flash when it becomes lightning combo. That's twice now that he's been able to pull something off like that.
And it's just the follow-up, right? We were asking for the engage. Jiejie decides, hold on, there's no arcane shift on this Ezreal. I'm going in. And go in, does he? Rookie follows up with the Spirit Rush, another charm flash over the wall. And it's just that
Danny.
Being on the same wavelength was so powerful there. If Jiejie goes in and there's no follow-up, he's inting. But the second Rookie flashes in, the second Meiko follows up as well. It's an amazing play that nets them the Baron.
And now you have a 6-1 Rookie with a 5-0-5 Gala. The two hyper carries now going to be enabled for them. They have these spikes almost on 4 items now as well. The Baron buff to boot. And looking to get some more of this side lane turret gold down. Gala trying to step in here, get this one down, maybe even looking at an inhib turret. BLG will have a good defense. TheShy was looking in mid lane. They're trying to go for a 4-1 setup with potentially Jiejie going to rejoin the team in top side.
Bot wave, maybe a little bit suboptimal as they do for an engage.
Okay, well, Meiko gets completely caught. He also burned the quickness there, so he'll be down for 45, and the defense will be good from BLG, I guess.
I guess they get nothing from this Baron. 45-second death timer plus the 30 seconds it takes you to walk out. Yeah, they want more. I like this from BLG.
Do. Oh, he doesn't stop him from going in the portal. Oh, man, they're just chasing down because the Dragon is in about 1:20. A Hex hole again would be so massive for BLG, especially with Elk there pumping damage with the Mystic shots. And they want control of this side of the map, so they will force a little bit of late resets from IG, but they're going to be in plenty time for this next fight.
Yeah, remember they've got those Baron buffed recalls as well, so they're able to get back, get out onto the map nice and quickly, and with that Hex text portal as well out of the base, makes recalling and getting back out onto the map pretty trivial. So for the time being, IG righted that ship, righted the wrong, but I think, Mazel, we're pretty much back at that neutral game state, to be honest. Yes, there's a bit of a gold lead for Invictus Gaming, and it really does once again come down to our AD carries. Gala has 1,800 gold on his counterpart, but until that Steel Shroud gets turned into the Guardian Angel, not really the massive advantage that Gala would be looking for. I think once that GA gets picked up, it's definitely a distinct advantage for them, but Elk is 4 items as well. It's not like he doesn't do damage.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is that a 4-item spike just hit by Elk. He will be pumping damage, but he cannot get caught. He has flash, he has barrier, so does Gala on both regards. Here comes the Dragon. Maybe this is a situation where BLG are willing to give this. They have no control over this side of the map, but knowing BLG, they want fisticuffs. Jiejie will be spotted out on the other side. Wei looking for an entrance with this Vault Breaker. The biggest thing is the Dragon has already been started up, Roodood.
Just waiting, biding their time. TheShy spotted on a flank. He's going to see Wei go in.
Oh, he's going to go for the steal. He charges it up. Only 4,000 health, though. They get the cease and desist down. TheShy going to collapse on the way. Gala out with the flash, but gets flashed on by the rest of BLG. They take down him, and now they get the separation. It will be IG getting the dragon, going to soul point themselves, and that was a heck of a split fight for BLG that IG will take all day.
They take the dragon. They deny the soul. It costs them 1,000 gold. It costs them their linchpin AD carry, and means that they're not going to be able to do anything with this time. A 3 versus 4 on the map. You'd like to think IG could be a little bit more overzealous, a bit more aggressive with what they want to accomplish, but no. Without Gala at their side, they don't feel confident enough to do anything with it. And with that, Mazel, we once again reset. 5 more minutes until we get a soul for one of these teams. It's a 7 Drake game, but it's Gala who has to flash away from the Ambessa. But Vi flashes immediately on top. Elk flashes straight back on top as well. But it leaves on. It leaves Bin surrendered in the pit, and they don't have what it takes to get through IG. That's the problem with these tricksy compositions where you can hop over, you can stay back. The second that you get that little bit disjointed, it becomes so confusing as to who's going where.
Yeah, because once you commit to that initial play, trying to get the steal. Oh, speaking of an initial play, Wei is going down here. He's got the triple talent strike there, and he's going slowly but surely to the grave. And a big pick back to back. Now, IG have wrestled full control of this game.
So now they can, I mean, they've already got full vision control in that topside jungle. It was like, blink and we miss it. Pink ward's down, the vision laid out as well, so there's no entrance to that jungle that isn't going to be spotted by Invictus Gaming. I think the silver lining here for BLG is that Wei will be back up in time to at least attempt to get to the Baron pit. But what this means is that Meiko gets a chance to go back to recall. He's going to have a fresh stock of wards ready to go to deny any vision that BLG placed down. Jiejie also able to get back his final little bits of items that he wants to pick up. Another couple pink wards picked up in his inventory. And BLG, with that Baron spawning in 25 seconds, need to reset themselves. They found one place where they were able to come back into this game. They need to do that again.
And I'm just going to say this game one of this best of 3 is delivering. We got 18 to 15. We're 36 minutes in, and it is feeling almost dead even in a lot of regards. Yes, there's a small gold lead, but at this point in the game, it only matters about those completed items. Mercurial Scimitar has been completed for Elk, so he is on full build. We're waiting for that final item completion from Gala. Baron is on the table right now, Root, but BLG have no vision on this top side. Yeah,
and Rookie's full build as well on this Ari is
20 stacks, by the way. They go for the engage. Wei is trying to go full in here, but he's already chunked out. Public execution on the back line. Look at Bin. He's trying to make the difference here. Is Gigabit activated, or is it Super? TheShy is Elk getting the cleanse immediately there with that Mercurial Scimitar. TheShy getting low, but he's getting pushed back. Bullet time coming back out. Wei gets tagged at the very end. It goes down, but look at this engage from Knight and Elk. Elk sits one down, looking for another. Church of Breath flashed out of, and BLG, they are sticking to their guns.
These fights are delivering, Mazel. 2 for 2 in the end, and nothing to split these two teams. BLG get the push on mid-wave, but Rookie's limping away. Meiko's 2 HP, and Jiejie just barely able to stay alive. That Guardian Angel paying dividends already for the Xin Zhao. Both topsiders go down for BLG, and it's once again an engage that comes through from BLG. That dive onto Gala hits, but he himself does not fall. Tanks cease and desist, tanks public execution, but TheShy and the rest of Invictus Gaming rally around their marksman, rally around their AD carry, who they know will carry them through. But it's Knight on a re-engage. Rookie goes forward trying to snipe out Wei, but just in time, able to flash in, catches Gala as he's trying to crush that threshold, and just barely does Meiko get out to safety.
That flash going to be something of a safety there for him. He's going to be potentially returned to now, not having that flash for himself. Gala, and more importantly, Elk will have theirs here soon, at least for Elk, but Dragon is coming up on the table in 35, and Wei want a preemptive pick with BLG, trying to steam forward onto them. Knight going a little bit too far. Knight,
wrong side.
The golden left hand has crumpled into dust, and now Rookie trying to get Elk is going to get that Mercurial, and now they have the pressure onto this Dragon. This is Hextech Soul, Rude.
20 seconds. That's 30 seconds of
my
Knight
God.
being dead.
They try to go for TheShy. TheShy getting low, but he's Dominus. He's going to go down. Now, look at Elk. Elk has been free pumping. Bullet time coming in and on is down now. Ben going to be caught, going to flash out, but look at Elk. He's going on to Gala. Gala's caught. Gala needs one auto. That flash came up right in time for Elk, but his GA isn't enough. True shot barrage. Look at Elk, man. This guy is popping off, and he's got mad Elk disease. He's in there like swimwear, and a double kill for the BLG super carry.
The AD carries this game have been crucial, and when given the time, when given the space, when given 6 items and a can-do attitude, it's Elk that comes alive, that saves the fight for BLG. He had no mid laner, he had no support going into that fight, but he steps up and finds the man, finds the target, finds the soul, and finds the Baron as well.
10, 2, and 10 on the Ezreal. We said from draft, like, this is a comfort pick for him. This is something he relies on late game carry, that extra damage to follow through with the over-the-top nature of BLG's dives, and he is making it look masterful against Gala. Look at this fight. Look at Elk's positioning this entire time. He is a cold-blooded killer.
This entire game has been based on BLG having a numbers advantage and them looking to make plays on TheShy, looking to make plays on the split map. But this time round, they're the ones who are threatened. They're the team in a 4 versus 5 scenario coming up in the clutch. TheShy barely goes down, but look at Arn's HP here. This Alistair, again, completely removed. 3 people chasing onto Bin, but Elk, just the smallest sight of Gala, and he's in there. IG this time unable to protect him. Good timing on the true shot barrage to take out Gala. Great timing on his damage as well as TheShy. We come back, and he is almost taken down.
Look at that, David. What the hell is that graph? Oh my god.
In one team fight, Mazel, 16,000 damage from Elk. One single team fight.
The next highest was like 8,000 on the other side of things. Elk is pumping here, and they are looking with this Baron buff to put the final nail in the coffin of this game. Number 1, the lead has gone back the way of BLG, and this is truly the essence of the LPL, the back and forth nature of what Group Ascent can offer us, and BLG's siege will be put down here as On, forced to pop that unbreakable will.
Yeah, Rookie with a very high value Spirit Rush. Remember, level 18, this cooldown comes up very quickly, but he just burned Mercurial, which is 90 seconds, and the Alistair ult.
Oh, he tries to use the public execution to get a little bit of distance, but Bin is now caught. This play was in seeding their top lane, though, and they lose that inhib turret.
But importantly, it's only the turret. The inhibitor stays strong. That pushing set of waves won't come out for BLG. Looking at the timings of this, it's going to not really mean too much for our neutral objectives. It just puts a stop to BLG's siege. They would have loved to end this game with the Baron. They've got the soul at their backs as well, but Bin steps a little too far forward, gets caught out by Meiko. And IG return to a state of normality almost here. Still, 25 stacks on the Rookie RE. I mean, this series we touted as both of these two teams' first real test for split number 2. We are 42 minutes in, and there is 400 gold to separate these two teams.
Exactly that, and we've been over a kill a minute here as well. And just the exact kickoff to this best of 3 that I would have wanted. Another inhib turret actually goes down. And now Jiejie, he's going to be caught. Gets the Crescent Guard out there, is able to defend. Will not get popped just yet. His GA is still up and available, but now the pressure is on. The siege is on, and Elk is there to try to put the pressure on this inhib too. They're going to burst it down. Maybe this Baron buff is not going to hold on, so it's going to have to be a back off of that siege. But then you also have to think about BLG's escape form now. They have this Hextech Soul. They have so much poke damage layered on top of everything, they could maybe even look for a fight.
Eyes on the Ezreal. Eyes on any of these empowered Qs by night as well. Just laying the groundwork to have a truly pop-off performance in this blue side jungle. True Shot Barrage is some good poke here. And Elk at the very least just going so crazy.
I think for IG, it's got to be Rookie. Like, I think Rookie just has to have a masterful. I mean, he's got 25 stacks on the Magi's. He has that charm that can take down Elk in that single blow potentially, but Elk having that GA now that he switched over is going to make that way more difficult. And this is why you draft this kind of composition. You're able to siege down these structures very easily, and another one goes down in favor of BLG.
I mean, unfortunately, Rookie wasn't really able to play with the advantage that he got, right? Okay, hold on.
Oh, Meiko gonna flash out of there. Doesn't get seismic shove. That was a really big defensive flash from Meiko. And we'll end up surviving. Because you have to think, I mean, the death timers are like over 60 seconds at this point. Once you're dead, that might just mean the game.
And as well, right, I want to harp on what you just mentioned here, Mazel, that Rookie has to be that person to find the crucial fight almost. Gala at this stage, don't get me wrong, incredibly powerful, but he sold his GA because it wasn't up for a stopwatch, because he knows that if he can immune either a cease and desist or a public execution, that keeps him safe for a little bit longer, allows him to pump out that little bit more damage. But Rookie, who has been clutch with these charms as well, 10-1 and 8, comparable to Elk in terms of scoreline, but it just feels like the QSS that he's got, the Unbreakable Will on the Alistair, the Zhonya's that comes through for Knight. There are just a couple too many answers to an Ahri.
We're getting the full build here across the board, Roodood. This is so hype. And now Dragon on the verge. 20 seconds till the Elder comes up. Another GA purchase. That means BLG have 3 GAs across the table for them. And they have this push with the super minions in mid lane. This is going to give a big leaping off point to that Dragon. And if they get Elder, it might just be the saving grace of BLG.
It's now about this setup on that bot side jungle in particular. BLG have a lot of control. They have complete control over the river.
Oh, Jiejie might get his GA popped here. It's going to go with the bullet time on top. He's not down. He has not gone out. Big charm there for Rookie. Rookie trying to get resets, but here comes Bin. And now the Weaver's wall across. Knight going to knock them down. And the Hextech Soul is doing work. All of a sudden, you look at IG. They are missing arms. They're missing legs. And now they're missing heads. BLG have come to town, and you gotta pay the tax man.
Twice in this game, BLG were thwarted. They were set behind, but with clutch factor, 2 LPL championships from last year, they rally, they come back, and they're gonna take game 1.
What a game 1. I'm just sitting here like the Gladiator meme. Are you not entertained? We're finally in Group Ascend. We're finally in the big promised land of the LPL, and BLG deliver a massive blow to IG in this best of 3.
46 minutes, Mazel, it took BLG, and they were struggling for every single one of them, whether it was struggling from behind or struggling to find those crucial bits of information that would have led them to a game win. They managed to come through and they managed to pull out that upset where IG, again, for the most part, were ahead in this game. They had got a good foothold, kind of had a really good advantage as well. The Gala misfortune was going crazy for a large portion of that game.
It was.
But unfortunately, it wasn't crazy enough. The dive was there. I think the synergy of this composition for BLG just was enough to carry them through. And if that wasn't enough, let's talk about the fact that Elk was a monster.
Yeah, absolute legend on that Ezreal performance. I have to give a little shout out to Knight's final. Like, Knight had maybe one of the most quiet games he's had of recent memory, and then that final Weaver's wall to just sandwich the rest of IG in that quarter hold so that Elk and that Wei could make that engage. Really good stuff, but Elk deserves all the praise. We said it from the beginning. This is where a ton of resources typically do go for BLG, especially in 2024 when they found that back-to-back championship. It was always the Elk show in a lot of those carry moments. And to see him on the Ezreal, to see him on